Dating. Hey, friends. So, funny story is, we just did about a good 5 minutes of the show, and I never hit go live. So we're gonna do it again. What up,
Party foul.
baby? I haven't had a party foul in a long time, so it actually feels kind of dope. I am Kujo Speaks, one of your hosts of No Hangover. Pleasure to meet you.
And I'm Nikki, another host of No Hangover.
Yeah, we'll get that cleaner at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel weird, like, saying I'm a host. It's weird.
It's odd, right? Like, it's almost like you feel like you're bragging or something. Like, yeah, I'm the host of this thing.
Right.
Would you expect me to be? I'm on camera, weirdos. So this is, for those of you who this is your first time, thank you and welcome. We are also live at the moment on Instagram. If you want to hop over to our Instagram live feed, say what up, give us your comments, tell us what you want to see. Ashley, no butt chugs. That is not going down on the show.
She really wants those butt chugs.
Man, I'm telling you, it's Jesse's fault. Our Canadian homegirl brought up butt chugging in a meeting, and now we can't stop talking about butt chugs. So this is your destination for everybody who has gotten rid of the drugs and the alcohol, or maybe even never drank or did drugs in the first place, and kind of feel excluded from the bar scenes and the party scenes. We wanted to provide you guys with a place that you can come party. We do meetings and Zooms and stuff like that all week where we talk about recovery and all that kind of stuff, and those tend to be a little more serious, and it's not really like a party vibe, I guess. So I want this to be a place where people can come and consider it a meeting, consider it you kicking it, hanging out, partying a little bit, not missing out. So really hoping you guys take advantage of this, and also this is your show, so whatever you guys want to talk about, whoever you want to see on here, whatever advice you guys are looking for, please make sure you hit us up. You can find me on Instagram at Kujo_speaks. Hold on, let me scroll. I got it on here somewhere. There it is. You can find Nikki at Nikki_Hagen.
With two N's.
With two N's. You had to be difficult, didn't you?
Yep.
I see. That's how this is gonna go. So this is our first full episode. I think the big thing that we were talking about doing, which we are going to do today, because Nikki did provide us with some goods.
I'm excited.
We're going to do the drink of the week. So I want to go ahead and get started with the drink of the week so we can get this party cracking. I know me, back in my drinking days, that sound of was it.
Yeah.
It meant it was on and popping. So I don't know this company. I've never seen or heard of these drinks, so I'm gonna let you lead this bit. Let me see. Sweet. I got my drinks.
So yeah, this is Day Soy. Hopefully I am saying the name of that correctly. And it was actually a non-alcoholic drink company founded by both Katy Perry and Morgan McLachlan. I know Katy Perry, but I do not know Morgan McLachlan, so I'm not sure if anyone else knows who she is. But yeah, those are the founders of this company, and they created these non-alcoholic beverages. And the cool thing about these is they're not like other like non-alcoholic mocktails where it's just like juices and flavorings and stuff like that. These actually have like mushrooms and ashwagandha and stuff in it.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Not to cut you off, but so my boys are 17 and they're getting into the gym really, or they've been in the gym really heavy for like a year now, and they want to go in the military, and they were looking up like supplements and stuff like that to take. And ashwagandha is actually a huge one in like the workout world for mood, muscle growth, and a bunch of different things. So I just now heard about ashwagandha from them. So seeing that is in here.
Yeah.
Sweet. I might have to go to the gym after this.
Yeah, when I first got these, I was like really confused because I was like, wait, like are these like mushrooms that you trip on? Because that was totally my thing back in the day. Like, am I going to like trip balls if I drink one of these? But I think it's more so it's just like a little bit like enough to make you feel relaxed, kind of like alcohol gives you that feeling, but it's non-alcoholic, which is a super cool thing.
Yeah, you got to be careful with non-alcoholic stuff too, because I know the first time I stopped drinking, I was really big into O'Doul's, not realizing that there's still like .0 something percent of booze in O'Doul's as well.
Oh, really?
So yeah, like it's not completely 100% booze free. There's like .0 something percent alcohol in it. So knowing that fact, although I was sober, I knew there was a little bit of alcohol in this. So I was smashing like 30, 40 O'Doul's or as much as my body can handle just to try to get a tiny bit of, you know what I mean? Like, I'm technically not drinking. It's not alcoholic. Right. But if I drink 60 of these bitches.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm not. That would have to be something we probably look into with this. But it says non-alcoholic. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't really look too deep into the company or anything. I got these actually sent to me for like a brand deal whenever I was bigger on TikTok. Yeah. And I literally just never did it. Right. And I tried them. I tried one flavor, wasn't crazy on it, but they sent me 4 different flavors. So there's a few options here that I've never tried. And I thought it would be fun to give them a try. And
sweet. Well, this is a perfect first one. I'm telling you what. Yeah. And you guys out there, if you know any companies that specialize in non-alcoholic beverages, or if you yourself have a favorite mocktail or a smoothie or anything healthy like that you want to see us try on the show, please let us know.
Yeah, we're going to try to do mocktails like full on party style. Like I made an Amazon order this past week for like all the bar stuff, like the shaker cups, the shot. So we're going to go all out with this.
It's about to get serious in here, man. She sent it to me and I was like, oh, I got that, but I need that. And I got this and I got that. And then eventually right now I'm rocking the old school mason jar, but I'm going to get us some fancy no hangover bar thing.
That would be so sweet.
So if anybody specializes in making custom mugs or cups or whatever the case may be, please hit us up as well. All right. Which one's first? What are we doing first?
All right. So pick a color, any color, Derek.
Ooh. I don't know. I kind of want to see what this shroom is talking about. I'm a little nervous, though, because the like lemon balm, golden out, like they don't sound great. I'm going to be honest. Just looking at them, they don't sound great.
I think these are more so for like those super health freak people who like love like celery. So if you're not like a celery dude, you may not love them, but they're worth a shot for sure.
Well, here's the other thing too with us. We're going to be honest. So I'm going to be completely real with you. If I don't like these, I'm going to be super real, and don't take it as offense to whatever company send us something. This is just a place where you're going to get honest feedback. So let's go with the one that I think is going to be the worst first.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this one, the one, the alcoholic aperitif pure purple loon.
Okay, so this one is ashwagandha, tart cherry, L-theanine derived from green tea, purple loon.
Ooh.
You like green tea?
It depends. Right. I like green tea hot, but I don't like tea cold.
See, I'm not a big green tea person, so.
Okay, well, so how we're going to try to do this is when we crack open our first whatever we're doing, or when we make our mocktail, we're just going to do a little salute, a little toast, and then we're going to taste, and then we're going to party. So let's crack them.
Ready?
Oh, I missed that sound.
That iconic.
I got the mason jar to show you guys what. Oh, yeah.
So it's like very red.
Now, okay, so for people who need the what's the word I'm looking for? The substitute or the placebo of having like a beer. I used to be a really big craft beer guy. So if this is decent to drink, this would really set me up for a good Friday night, or said I want to, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I gotta get me a drink. Go crack me one of these.
Yeah. What does it smell like to you? I can smell the cherry in it.
Yeah, I'm getting like a cherry, and then like it reminds me of honestly, like a 12% craft wine barrel brewed beer.
Yeah, it smells like wine for sure.
All right, well, here goes nothing. Raise your glasses, everybody, and here's a toast to those we have lost before, those who are fighting and trying to recover next to us, and those who may be struggling to even admit that they have an issue. Also, to all of you allies out there who don't have a problem with booze and alcohol, but you sympathize with us and do everything you can to help us out. We love you.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's not horrible.
It's not. I expected it to be a lot worse.
I expected it to kind of punch me in the face with like a strong, like, the tart of the cherry isn't as tart as I thought it would be.
No. I feel like it really does taste like wine.
It really does. I wonder if that's the ashwagandha that makes it.
Okay, wait. So there's actually more ingredients than what we first read.
Uh-oh.
So
Look, we got to shut the show down immediately. It's 100% booze.
Right. Oh my god, that'd be so bad. Okay, Purple Loon is made with ashwagandha and tart cherry, which we already knew. Botanicals that bring your body into balance. Rich and delicate. This elixir has notes of blackberry nectar, vanilla oat, and rose petals. It's complex but not exhausting. And it says if you are pregnant or nursing, you should not consume this.
Yeah, well, see, the ashwagandha stuff is, it's pretty strong. It does a lot to your body, I guess, and it's supposed to all be positive. I was talking to some people that do take ashwagandha and work out, and it's a friend of mine was telling me if you're on it for a long time, it's like anything else, to where when you get off of it or if you stop using it, you will get a little bit depressed or whatever, because it gives you that serotonin boost and all of that. So, but overall, I would drink this. Yeah,
it's not bad at all.
This definitely will satisfy that urge too. If you got that craving and you really want that that booze taste without the booze.
Right.
We're not sponsored by this company at all, people. I'm giving you an honest opinion. I will drink this.
Yeah, it's not bad at all, honestly. I really didn't think that I would like it. And one thing you guys should know about me is I am a super picky person. So there's a lot of things that I probably will not like, but this is not one of those things. It's actually not bad. So I would definitely, recommend trying it.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Because I don't want to chug this and I actually like it, I'm going to let it sit and I'm going to drink it slowly. And then when this is over, we can interject and pop in with the other one. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. All right, let me show some love to everybody over here on Instagram. Oh, Joe, you know our crew.
Joel says we're going to need an intervention after.
At least I didn't butt chug it, though, right?
Right. Okay, so here's a question for you. Have you ever done a butt chug?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Well, I don't know. Let me say that. I'll say that. There's a lot of, towards the latter end of my addiction, I was having blackouts that were really bad. Like, I'm talking, I would lose 2-3 days. This is during COVID, while we're just at the house, doing nothing. So I'd be like, oh, when did that happen? And my wife would be like, that happened on Saturday. Keep in mind, it's Tuesday. I'm like, Saturday? What day is it? Like, literally would lose complete days. So I don't think in my active addiction, and maybe, people that were around when I was in my active addiction can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I don't think I was too crazy as far as like going out and doing like butt chugging and doing wild stuff like that. But I mean, I was wild, but not butt chug wild.
Me either, honestly. And, I always say there's a lot of things that I can say that I've done and that I've tried. Butt chugging is not one of those things. No. But there's a lot that I think is a little bit worse than the butt chug that I have done, so I'm not going to put it too high up there on like the scale of shitty things, because there's definitely worse.
Literally shitty.
Yeah, literally shitty.
Yeah, there is worse, but I don't know though. Like how I've seen it. I've seen people do it. I went to college. I went to a major university. So I've definitely seen people do stuff like that. And typically it would be like beer bongs. Right. Like they'd go on the handstand, put the beer bong. And I'm like, how? Huh?
I was going to say, it sounds like a frat boy thing.
Yeah, I was a frat boy too.
Were you really? No way.
There's some things in life you don't like to admit. Like I'll admit to you all day that I did drugs and alcohol and a bunch of, mischievous things, but there's a deep stigma about people who are Greek, and it's especially like I wasn't in one of those like lauded black fraternities. I was in a normal little white boy fraternity in Western Michigan University. So I did some very non-African American things, as my people would say. It's not as bad as you say.
That have been an experience for you.
It was, and talking about partying, man, that I think that was the first time that I was a part of like a massive group of people that was the focus.
Right.
You know, obviously outside of college, there's supposed to be that brotherhood and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But while you're in college, the whole purpose, it seems, of fraternities and sororities is to party. There's every college I've ever known of sections off an entire neighborhood, and it's called frat row or frat village or whatever you call it at your college. But you know what's going down every night in that area.
Right.
You know.
See, I feel like if I would have made it to college, I may not be here today, because the type of crazy that I would have definitely done some not so shit in college.
Yeah.
You know, there's stuff that I did in high school that I'm surprised, you know, I'm still here to talk about, but at college, I feel like it would have just gotten worse.
Yeah.
So, you know, both a blessing and a curse, because right now I'm in college online, kind of making up for the time that I missed. So like, right. I wish I would have went, but at the same time, I really, really do believe that it would have ended badly if I ended up in college at the time.
It almost did. It almost did for me, and that's why I ended up going to the military. So I guess I'll open this story up. I never wanted to go to the military. My dad was military, a lifer. My sister had went in. My uncles, you know, my whole family for the most part. So I always was like, I'm smarter than them. I'm better than them. You know, I don't need to go to the military to have a life. So I went to college, and little did I know, I would end up there anyway, because I was selling drugs at the time, doing anything you could give me. The big things up there at the time, and this is 2004, was E, which I guess people, if they do Molly now, I think it's the same. I don't know if it's the same or different or what, but we did ecstasy, cocaine, mushrooms, and then obviously copious amounts of drinking and smoking weed. So I had started dabbling into the selling drugs thing to make some money. I wasn't working. I actually got fired from a job because they scheduled me during a kegathon that I told them not to. And if you guys don't know what a kegathon is, you get a team of like 4 or 5 people around one keg, and your team races to finish that keg first.
Wow.
In college, that sounds like a good idea, but now in sobriety and as an adult, I'm like, what the hell was? It was a huge thing too. Like, you paid your money months in advance, and you signed up your team, and everybody came to watch. Like, absolutely insane. So I wasn't working, so I started selling some drugs to pay rent and whatever, and it just got real bad. Like, cops would flag the house. People were getting stabbed and robbed, and randomly some girl walked up to me in the middle of campus and asked if my name was Juice and if I could get her this, that, and the other thing. And so I'm smart enough to know that no random person is going to come pick me out of the crowd, walk up to me, know my name, and know I can get them things. So I was like, yeah, I think it's time for me to go. So I dipped. I went home and signed up for the military and took off before things got bad. But it could have went a different way for sure.
So do you feel like the military saved you at all?
Not as far as alcoholism goes. As far as alcoholism, the military made it way worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's not to say I don't want to dig at any of my leadership in the military, because there are a lot of people in the military who can drink responsibly.
Right.
Let me say that. And you have to keep in mind, and you know, when we're talking about recovery and we're talking about addicts, we're talking about all that. I think a lot of people who don't consider themselves addicts or don't think they have a problem, they kind of get defensive when you talk about the two, like you have to be on one or the other side.
Yeah.
We have an issue. We have a disease. We have addictive personalities. We can't put it down once we start. That's our thing. Because you drink alcohol doesn't make you a bad person. There's a majority of the world can drink alcohol and not do the things we do. So I do want to make sure I put that out there. Anybody watching, don't think it's us versus them. Don't think it's, us addicts versus you drinkers. No, everybody should stop drinking. It's not that. If you have a problem with alcohol or drugs, if you have a problem that you can't just do one and put it down, you are the people we're talking about, not you other folks that are lucky enough not plagued with this disease.
Yeah.
Which it is. I mean, a lot of people will fight that too. It's not a disease. It's I'm 100% one of those people that is for sure a disease.
And I feel like alcoholism, it's just like, it's so difficult, I think, for some people to determine if they are alcoholics or not, because so many of us experience like that denial. So like you have that first and foremost, but also there's like that thin line because alcohol is legal. There's that thin line of, you know, am I just a casual drinker who might drink a little too much on the weekends? Or am I a full-blown alcoholic?
Right.
And sometimes when you're like right on that line, it's hard to tell, you know? Yeah. And I think a lot of people are kind of pulling themselves one way or the other, and maybe on the wrong side of the line. You know what I mean? Like there's probably, and you know, I hate to like stigmatize it, and I try really hard not to, but I feel like you don't have to drink every day to be an alcoholic.
No, not at all.
If you drink to get completely fucking plastered, you are an alcoholic. You know what I mean? You should be able to have a few drinks, watch the game, and then go to bed and wake up for work the next day. If you're unable to do that, you have an issue, whether it's every day or twice a week. It's still an issue.
I completely agree with that. And I think it's mainly for me. Sorry, I'm still stuffed up, y'all. You can hear me sniffling and sounding weird. For me, it's the fact of it's the whole you can't have just one thing to me. Because I know that I never really screwed my life up, got any DUIs, didn't, you know, went to jail. I didn't do any of that stuff. So to a lot of people that are actively drinking, that's their bar. They're like, I haven't done anything wrong in life. I'm great at my job. I'm this, I'm that, I'm the other thing. And they haven't really lost anything or been to their rock bottom because of it. So they don't see it as an issue. Right. But for me, I had to realize it was killing me. And I couldn't just drink a 6-pack. Like me, I'm not talking one or two. I couldn't drink a 6-pack. I would go get a 12 or more, and that would be the first run. And I knew without a shadow of doubt when that was gone, I was going back to the store. You know what I mean? So it's not, you know, when you can't stop something, and when that obsessive thought goes and goes and goes and goes until you eventually feed into it, that's that addictive personality. That's that problem that needs to stop.
Right. Right. No, and I totally agree. And I feel like there's also like those people who use drugs who are kind of the same way, you know, because I've definitely met a few people who can like do coke on the weekends and like be perfectly fine the rest of the week. So it's again, it's just such a like narrow line. Yeah. And I think you have to dig really deep. Like if you're struggling with that fact of am I an addict or not, like you have to definitely look at how it's affecting you and your life and your mental health and your family and all of that. You know?
Look at how so I posted some questions on Instagram today just to kind of see. And it's funny because I posted it this morning and I knew that not many people would speak up because of the fact that I pointed out non-recovery and recovery kind of people. I had a question for active drinkers and a question for people in recovery. And the question was for people in recovery is, what do you miss most about partying? The question for people that are active drinkers was, what is it about partying that you feel you don't want to give up? And asking myself that question was what really let me know I was super deep into it, because I couldn't really answer the question. It wasn't the feeling I got from the booze, because honestly, by the time I was feeling it, I didn't remember. It wasn't the losing my inhibitions, because I was always wild. I've never been shy. I could go out and party and dance and do all that stuff without booze and alcohol. So it was really like, I don't know what I'm holding on to. Right. You know what I mean? Like I'm not seeing anything but negative coming from the fact that I'm even drinking and doing all of this. So I think asking that question, you know, if you are someone who thinks you got it all taken care of and you may be drinking a little too much or whatever, just honestly sit down and ask yourself, what would it hurt me to give it up? And if the answer is nothing, then okay, maybe you should give it up. But if you have a long list of answers to that question, then you should probably start looking at your drinking habits and see, because you probably are deeper than you think you are.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's a tough question. I haven't really ever even thought about that myself. Like,
it's wild, ain't it, to think
why
about?
Was I holding on to it for so long? But I definitely feel like, you know, my reasoning was just because I was so used to the chaos, because I came up in chaos. My childhood was chaos. And I think, you know, I just didn't want to give up that chaos. Like the idea of like going to work and coming home and sitting on the couch and like watching a movie felt so normal that it felt not right for me as a person, my lifestyle. Like it was never like that. So like, how can I, how can I normalize that for myself? It felt so weird to do those normal things. And I think that's why a big reason why some people hold on to it, because a lot of us do come from like chaos and difficult childhoods and things like that. And it's just what we're used to for so long.
Yeah. I mean, and two, you got to think, and for those of us who have families who, are drinkers or partiers and all of that, when you grow up seeing that as the norm, you don't see a problem with it. Growing up, you never attach the alcohol and the drugs as reasons why all these things are happening. You just think, oh, that's just my family, or that's just life, or that's just. So I guess I think one thing I want to try to do and start doing is talking to kids younger and allowing them to see the truth in the fact that a lot of these problems come from drugs and alcohol, not just gloss over the fact that those things, are additives to the issues, because it's not until it's too deep or they're too far gone that people are like, oh, maybe you should give up drugs and alcohol. Right. Like, let's attack that earlier and let these younger folks know, like, hey, listen, there's a lot that can go wrong as soon as you start doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm just letting you know that it's not easy to start and then stop, because if you are an addictive personality, once you start, if you like it at all, you're stuck.
Yeah, no, that's definitely like a big goal of mine as I grow in like this recovery thing, is to definitely go out and speak to the youth. And I think that would be something cool that, we could possibly do if we grow this platform enough, go and, visit schools and talk to the children out there. So I think a big problem that we have today is, you always hear about DARE, and like the DARE people come out and tell you how bad drugs and alcohol are, and they just kind of try to like scare it out of you, which doesn't work for kids. When somebody told me as a kid, don't do this because something bad will happen, it made me want to do it more, because I was curious and rebellious, just like the rest of these kids are. So telling someone who is 15, 16 years old not to do something is only going to push them to do it more.
Big
I mean, how many of us have had boyfriends or girlfriends that our parents hated, and they tell us to like break up with them, and you don't want to do it, but as soon as your parents leave you alone about it, you're like, this dude's not really that cool anyway.
I go through that with my daughters all the time.
Yeah. So I think a big thing that we need to do is to go into schools and less try to scare them, and more so try to talk to them about, how can I find out if I have an addictive personality before I even try drugs to begin with? Because like you said, we never want to help them until it's too late. Once they're already deep into it, they're not going to want your help. They're not going to be open to hearing you out. They're in that partying stage. They're having fun. They don't want nothing to do with sobriety, especially at 16, 17 years old. Nice. And then we have all of these people we're losing to overdose before they even hit 20. Sick.
Yeah, it's sad, man. I mean, and it sucks because people feel like not one person can't change the world kind of thing. But honestly, it's what it takes. I mean, with 7 billion people on this planet, if every one person decided to take up that charge, then it's not just one person changing the world. It's the world of people changing the world. So I think we definitely have to stay on that. Allison Ray on Instagram says, as a binge drinker, weekend warrior, I was in denial about my alcoholism because it wasn't every day. Highly agree. Alcoholism can look different. We have people in our groups that can attest to this completely. Like super successful people with high level jobs that, it's like the more successful you are, you're almost expected to drink a ton, because it's the acceptable thing to do. And it's sad. Like, I wish we could change that. That's what I want to change. Like everywhere you go, there's a big Budweiser sign, or there's, what I mean? Some alcohol or booze company is a sponsor of every baseball games, pee-wee tournaments. Like, why? Like, why can't there be something else a little less harmful that everybody jumps on the band? How about Day Soy or Day Sweet? I'm gonna call him Day Sweet.
Day Sweet.
Let's get Day Sweet to be, the biggest sponsor of something out there. I don't know. It bothers me more and more, I guess, the deeper I get into helping and Hangover in our Zooms and thinking about it and really getting to the root of things. Everywhere you go, you go,
Yeah. And if you think about it, I don't think there's very many people out there at all who walk up to somebody and like wonder, I wonder if that person's sober. You know what I mean? Like you walk up to people and the first thing you think to say, hey, go play. The first thing you think to say is, you know, something about alcohol. I've had so many people who have come up to me and were like, you know, it's the weekend. They're like, oh, you're going to go get a drink tonight? Or what are you doing tonight? You know, you're going to hit the bars. And like me in my head, I'm like, I'm a 24-year-old sober female, and like that doesn't even cross their mind. Like a 24-year-old person who is sober does not exist to so many people.
You're expected to get hammered. Like it's an expectation, like a rite of passage when you get a little older. What's up, baby girl? To be a drinker or be a partier. And I can't say I was that way too. Like I used to say out loud all the time, I don't trust people who don't drink. There's something wrong with them.
Yes, I used to say the same thing
all the time. I don't know what that fear. There's a fear of people who, honestly, I think people that feel that way know they have an issue and they never want to get called out because then they know they're going to have to do something to, you know, and they're not ready for that.
Right.
So I mean, it is what it is. I'm at such a loss with the whole thing at this point. I went to, as you know, I went and seen Dennis get his 9-year chip the other day.
Oh my God.
So it was incredible. And in that meeting, everybody was talking about being dry versus being in recovery and all that. And, you know, lately it's been dawning on me that I didn't start my recovery truly until I got to you guys, until I joined those Zooms and so I started going to meetings and all that kind of stuff. So a lot's been revealing itself as far as how I used to think about alcohol and people that were in recovery and how I now think about it. Right. So I understand the stigma of people that drink that may, you know, admit they might drink too much, but I don't have a problem though. I'm not an addict. I get it because I was that.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. No, I totally was too. You know, and I say all the time, my recovery didn't start for a good year and a half in. And, you know, like you said, until I started the Zooms and stuff, I feel like that's when my recovery started to really, you know, become better and grow and, you know, become stronger. And I completely just forgot what I was about to say. Does that ever happen to you, or you just like lose your total train of thought?
There was like 13 things I was going to say throughout this last half hour, and I completely
forgot. When that happens, and then it drives you nuts because you can't think about it.
You'll get it back. So talking about partying and missing partying and FOMOing and all that stuff, I decided to look up some ways to party sober because I know. For me, even still to this day, I haven't been to. Well, I went to a wedding shortly after I stopped drinking, and that was pretty cool. But even that was weird because I was like, you know, everybody's getting drunk, everybody's kicking it. I sat at the pregnant girl table because it was literally me and like 4 pregnant women. So you know, there's no alcohol coming to that table. I'm like, okay, I'm safe. But I don't even know how to fully party yet, being sober. So I looked up some things and. If you look at the ticker at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to have them running. I'll also read them off slowly and shortly talk about them. I don't want to get too into them, reading off lists and stuff, but I think these are pretty good tips on how to be able to still go that route and go party or be the DD or whatever. First, before I say any of that, I want to say some of us cannot. I would not tell some of us to even go near a bar because some of us don't have that willpower. You don't have the recovery is not that deep. So I will say first and foremost, before you decide to go, excuse me, to any bar or out anywhere where there's going to be alcohol or drugs, you have to make sure you are able to do that first of all. So I'll read the list really quickly and then we'll get into talking about some of these things. 1, know what to say. 2, bring a sober friend. Go to the meeting first. Help the host. Avoid toxic influences. Expect to have fun. Choose a smaller party, pick up the phone. It's okay to leave early or just stay home. Remember where you come from, be accountable, be the friendly one, and have an attitude of gratitude. I think the biggest one about that, well, a couple of them. Bringing a sober friend definitely is huge. Having that support, having somebody else who's also not partying will definitely help you. I think knowing what to say is the big one, though. Because there's a lot of times where that peer pressure happens because you don't know how to answer that question or you don't know how to turn it down, or maybe you don't feel comfortable even telling people you're an addict. So you end up grabbing the can. Oh, yeah, I'll take the drink. And you have it in your hand. And now it's that oh my God, I got to not drink this. I got to not drink this. I got to not drink this. And that fight, you'll probably lose about 90% of the time.
Oh, yeah. It's really hard to deny something when it's either right in front of your face or in your hand. And, you know, I think another thing that a lot of us probably struggle with whenever it comes to like saying no is like not wanting to hurt other people's feelings, because that was definitely my struggle for a long time. Is I, you know, never wanted to like have anyone think like, oh, I just don't want to like have fun with you, or like
Right.
anyone think that she's lame, or like, you know, I always struggled with like what other people thought about me.
Mhm.
And it made it really hard for me to set those boundaries and to stick to them because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah, it's the looking lame thing, I think, that gets us all, especially when you come from being the life of the party or you're used to being a party kind of person. It's the whole, oh, what do you mean you don't drink now? Well, come on, man. Like, oh, you're just going to be lame now? Like, oh, why are you even here then? And it
Right.
just turns into a whole shit show.
Right.
JP, the homie JP.
Yeah.
JP said, I think sober people off alcohol are animals, dude, because opiates ain't shit. But a really uncomfortable, shitty 3 or 4 days at worst. But alcohol, shake my head. My God, the shit I've seen and heard of people kicking it. I'm telling you, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's super rough because, for one, because it's so acceptable. But for two, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've always heard that an alcohol withdrawal is the only one that can actually kill you.
Alcohol and benzos.
Is okay. So that's what people don't get. Like, I try to tell people that all the time. They're like, yeah, no, yeah, right. Like, I've seen people did withdrawing off of it. They had no, man. I'm telling you, it's so acceptable, and it's we do it so much that it just gets so deep into our systems and can actually kill you.
Right. No, I think alcohol is one of the worst and one of the scariest drugs out there, because for some reason people are so terrified by people who nod off. And I'm not sure why. Like, when we're nodding off, we're literally not hurting anyone but ourselves. Like,
Right.
we're literally just zoning, and we're going to sit there and maybe fall on top of you, but that's about it.
Right.
But like, when people are drinking, I have had so many experiences, you know, being at bars or being at parties where people drink and they want to fight. They want to punch walls. They want to drive fast. They want to do all kinds of crazy shit that is reckless and dangerous. And I'm not sure what it is with the alcohol that makes people want to, you know, get that way. And I notice that it's different for, you know, different people. I've definitely had those like angry, wanting to fight all the time alcoholics. And I had those alcoholics who just like sit and laugh and pee themselves. But those ones who want to fight and argue and hit stuff, that's scary. And I think it's so much scarier than someone on opiates nodding off. Like, obviously, neither are good.
Right.
We should be more afraid and more concerned about alcohol and what it does to people, because it's really, really, really dangerous, and it affects people so drastically.
Mm-hmm. But then there's never anything anybody's going to do about it because of the alcohol industry and how much money the alcohol industry brings into, you know, so it's kind of like the prescription pills and the opioid epidemic or pandemic, whatever you want to call it. It's good to see that the hospitals and doctors now and the big pharma companies have been taking a step to take those off the streets as much as humanly possible, to the point of where, like me, somebody who actually needs pain assistance, I can't even get it. So, I mean, that's cool. But at the same time, I'm like, alcohol's way worse. I mean, to me, alcohol is way worse than a lot of those other drugs.
Yeah.
You know, none of them are good for you, obviously. Yes, none of them are good for you at all. But I've seen people, let's put it this way. People look at crackheads or meth heads or people that shoot up like they're just the bane of existence. I've seen people drunk and addicted to alcohol that have done all the same things as people that are on those drugs are.
Yeah.
Stealing, lying, crashing car. Like, I've seen more destruction and damage from people that are addicted to alcohol than I've seen from anybody using any of those other drugs. Yeah.
And I think it just goes into the stigma of it. And, you know, it's something else that it reminds me of, that now that we're on this topic of like alcohol and like stigma, is it's so crazy to think about how stigmatized each and every aspect of addiction is. Mm-hmm. I did this report for school the one time, and it was kind of like how different addicts are treated based on their skin color. Mm-hmm. And it was there was so much that I found that was like, you know, the white people who come from the rich neighborhoods and become addicted are thought of as lost potential, whereas you know the people who may be in poverty, or the black people are just like, you know, they don't think nothing of it. It's just whatever. And they're wanting to save these people who already come from money, who are already rich, who already have the good insurance to go get good treatment. And they're leaving the rest of us who have no money in the dirt because we don't matter. You know, it's like the drugs, the epidemic that we have right now with fentanyl is honestly may just be a big way to get rid of some of us who just, you know, don't have money, who are living on, because you don't see very many rich people who use opiates. You know what I mean? It's always the alcohol. It's always the cocaine. It's the rich man drugs. And those are like thought of as okay things to do, to whereas the opiates are.
I don't know though, because I know back in the day, I was watching something the other day randomly on TV, and it was talking about how like in the 50s and 60s, those housewives, they were getting scripts for, you know, Volume and Percocets or whatever the case may be. Like they were just handing them that stuff because it was accepted and normal for those people in those demographics to do those things. And I think still today, if you look at a rich Beverly Hills, you know, white lady who has a medicine cabinet full of opioids and benzos, and you don't look at her as crazy as you look at somebody that's in the hood or somebody who's in the middle class. You're like, oh, you're a drug addict. Right. But for the rich lady, it's her medicine. She's medicated,
or she's suffering. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's crazy how it's thought of that way. And some people do it without even thinking. You know, like they'll walk past a homeless person on the street and be like, "Oh, this is your fault. Like you put yourself here." But then their aunt, who is like constantly drinking and popping perks, is like, "Oh, she's just the fun aunt." You know what I mean?
Right.
It's crazy. It's like we both are struggling. We're all struggling with the same disease that is affecting us all the same exact way. So why does it matter what I use, where I live, how much money I have, what color I am, what my childhood was like? None of it should matter. Right. We should be treating addiction as a whole. It does not matter who you are, where you come from, what color you are. None of it. We just need to save these people at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think it sucks too. I think for a lot of these celebrities, like I know Eminem and Robert Downey Jr. too, that I can think of off the top of my head, who always talk about recovery and, you know, being sober and whatnot. And people kind of look at them like, what do you have to worry about? Oh, here you go. You just want somebody else to look at you. And I'm like, nah, dude, like you don't understand. Like the more money you have, the easier it is to get super fucked up.
Do you listen to Juice WRLD at all?
I do.
He's my favorite artist ever. I love Juice WRLD so much. And he was one of those cases of so much talent, so much that he could do with his life. He was going places. He already had money. He already had opportunity sitting right in front of him. Yeah. But he was so depressed, so full of anxiety, and he used drugs so heavily that he killed himself pretty much. And it doesn't matter. He came from nothing, and he finally was able to see what it's like to have money and cars and women and all the things that you could ever want and need. And he still killed himself with drugs.
Wasn't it? Am I right to say he was the one that was in the airport, right? And didn't he have a bunch of drugs on him and took a bunch? I want to say that was what happened.
I want to say I know he overdosed. I'm not sure the exact circumstances on it because there's been so many rappers who have overdosed lately.
In that time frame that he passed, I think it was like Lil Peep, then him, then I feel like there was like 2 or 3 more.
Mac Miller,
right around that Mac Miller, like right around that same time that were just pop.
Yeah,
jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You like to think when you got more money, you got less problems, but I'm telling you, Biggie was right. More money, more problems, dude.
Yeah.
My time living in LA showed me more about that and I think that's really why I decided LA wasn't for me, because it was the people who were most successful that I was around and that I was happy to be in the rooms with that were doing the craziest shit. I've never seen so much cocaine in one spot, and I used to sell cocaine in college. I mean, just on table, like when you hear parties, Hollywood parties type stuff. Yeah. Where cocaine pounds of cocaine tape, it was just everywhere, just laying on the table like charcuterie boards of cheese and just whatever you want, man. Everything's free. Just do you. One rule, just don't OD. I'm like,
Wow.
what?
Yeah, that's nuts.
Woo-wee. Speaking of more, I think it's time for the second drink.
Hell yeah, let's get it.
Look, now I'm getting back into my old ways. I would have been like 5 beers deep by now. I'm only on my second non-alcoholic, so I'm pacing myself
for
tonight.
you.
All right.
Which color you want to do?
I think I picked the last one. This one's on you.
All right, let's do orange. So this orange one says, made with resi mushroom, passion flower, and L-theanine derived from green tea. So what is this L-theanine? Because I believe this is something that's really good for you, right? It's like a supplement you can take.
I think so. I see it in a lot of different stuff.
And like vitamins and stuff.
I'm trying to look at how to spell it. Where's L-theanine? Isn't that one in the other one too?
Yeah, it was in both. Let's see if it's in this one too.
I'm assuming it is.
Yeah, yep. It's in this one as well.
Okay. So then they're all derived from green tea. So maybe that's where I used to see it at, is on the tea. Maybe. So if anybody paying attention knows what L-theanine is, please let us know in the comments, because I don't feel like looking it up at the moment. All right. You ready?
I am ready. Ready?
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay, this one smells like apricots.
Yeah. Did they say that was what was in here? I don't know if
I like apricots. Yes, this is an apricot juice. So this is apricot flavor. All
right. I'm not even going to pour this one. Actually, you know what? I ain't going to play them like that. But I'm going to taste it out of here so it doesn't mix with this. And then I will pour it into here and show y'all what it looks like. All right. You ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
I actually really like that one.
It tastes really similar to the other one.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's more citrusy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that this one, the black one, was a little like deeper, if you will.
Yeah, the black one
heavier.
Was, much more cherry, like the tart, and this one's definitely more citrus. I like it. It's like orange juice.
Yeah. Let's see what she looked like.
Orange juice feel for sure. All right, Patty, you gotta go play, baby. I am so sorry. My daughter is trying to hang out here.
Don't be. We party with our kids now.
She should be asleep, honestly, and I need to figure out a babysitter for when we record, because she was doing so good, and I seen her like sneak around the corner, and she's like, I'm coming in. Like, there's no stopping her now.
Lucky for us, we're not partying like we used to, so it ain't bad to have our kids around.
Right. But she needs a babysitter to watch her during these times.
This is wild, because this literally, like, I'm almost happy right now, because I feel like if we were doing a show back in my drinking days, I'd have my craft brew, and it would look like this, and it's the taste of it for me. Like, I can tell where the alcohol's missing, because it doesn't have that like hit you in the back of the throat, or like, there's none of that. But everything else that I loved about a craft beer is in this.
See, I was never a beer drinker. Whenever I would drink, I went straight for the liquor. So, beer was never my thing. But honestly, I like these. So far, I do like these.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what the other one is going to be. I think the other one's lemon. So that one might be like a Sprite or like a Sierra Mist type flavor.
I like the aftertaste of this.
Me too.
Of the citrusy one.
Me too. Yeah, I really like this one. I think this is my favorite so far.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. So we got to reach out to them and see if they want to be the all-time sponsor of No Hangover.
Yeah, we'll have to send. I know they have more flavors too, I believe. So maybe I will, because I was in contact with them before. They sent me these for free. So maybe I can send them a recording of this, and maybe they'd be happy to send us some more.
For sure. And again, please let us know if you guys know of any other companies that specialize in non-alcoholic drinks. If you know any bars that specialize in mocktails or anything like that, please let us know. We love to highlight them. We want to try their stuff out, give them reviews, and see what's cracking on that front.
You know what another cool thing is that we could do with this? We could support recovery owned small businesses, like people in recovery recovery who have opened their own small businesses. That would be super cool, and do kind of like reviews on the products, whether it be drinks or like shirts or mugs or whatever. That
would show. I mean, that's a great idea too, because it would show that there's people in recovery doing normal things. I think that's another thing that people have a misconception on, is that people that are recovering addicts or alcoholics, their lives are still in shambles.
Right.
They're not anymore. That's the point. That's why we got into recovery. That's why we decided to quit doing alcohol and booze. And most of us are back into the regular world. It's just something that's about us that you may not know. So,
yeah, I have a friend who has a small business, and she's in recovery, and she sells like eyelashes and like girly stuff. But like she's killing it, you know, and she's in recovery. I think she may even have a little bit less time than me, but still, she's killing it. You know, she has her own warehouse and everything to keep her stuff in. Yeah.
Do you know of any companies that outwardly promote that they're small business owners that are in recovery? I don't really see. Yeah.
There's a ton. There's another. I'll have to send it to you when we get off of here. But there's another small business that I follow. I forget what the actual name of it is. Like, it's like True Living or something like that. But it's actually a sober consignment shop kind of thing. They sell like special like key tags, special like sober coins. They sell mugs with like your sober date. Like, it's all recovery based stuff, and it's ran by all recovering addicts. Like, nobody who works there is not in recovery. And I think the owner has like 35 years sober from alcohol.
Wow.
Yeah, they're awesome. And I've been following them for a long time. They've grown a lot. They actually have a store. I think it's in California.
Okay.
And so it's...
Yeah, make sure you send me that, because that's...
Sure.
I don't think I've ever heard, like, you know, people like black-owned business or women-owned business. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody promote their business as, you know, recovery-owned business. So I want that to become a thing. Let's normalize that and being proud of recovery.
Yeah.
Allison Ray said, I drink Hi-Yo. Said very similar to these. You ever heard of that?
Write that down.
Crown me cutie, Taylor J in the building. So it's funny, Taylor. I don't want to exclude you in here. I want you in this room, because she does, on her Instagram, she does reviews of like booze. And so I was like, oh, it's liquor. Oh, it's liquor. And I love it. I absolutely 100% love it. And I would like you to be one of our ambassadors on the side of people that drink, for helping us that do have issues with alcohol. I think it means a lot for people coming from somebody who, you know, reviews booze and is an open drinker, for people like that to be like, hey, if you have an issue, please get help, you know, because it's like, oh, it's okay because she told me I could go get help. So,
right.
Thank you all for coming. Juice, what's up, Juice? Nice to see you. You ever need your nails done, hit up 6mo.
Okay, sweet.
I'm gonna have to show you her. She
travel to another state.
She be doing work. Well, we got to get you out here eventually at some point when the weather gets better. I think I got some ideas. There's some big things popping on at the network, and there's some. We got moves being made all around. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I would be so excited to come out and meet Princess and you and the family. That would be so cool.
Get the babies together, the redhead connection.
Oh my god, that would be so funny.
How old are your girls?
She will be 4 in April, and then McKenna just turned 5 in December.
So I have a daughter who's 6, turning 7. So they would definitely get along.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
The babies would love seeing somebody that looks like them. They need representation in this world too.
Yeah, we need more redheads in the world as well.
We're doing our part.
Yeah, we are, for sure. I didn't even try.
Man. Right? Look at, do you see me? People are like, where did that come from? I'm like, I couldn't tell you. And I know, like, obviously the big running joke is to my wife, like, okay, who's the real daddy? You could tell us. But it was during COVID. Well, obviously me and my wife are Trump tight. I never once would ever think she would cheat on me or anything like that. Right. But the running joke started, and I'm like, well, I can't even joke like that because it was COVID. We didn't go nowhere. Nobody went anywhere. She wouldn't even have had an opportunity. So
wait, is she a redhead?
No. She's a brunette.
Huh. That's crazy, because me and my boyfriend are both brunettes too, and we have 2 redheads.
It's weird. It's some really deep down recessive thing, I guess. Like my mom said, when her and my brother were babies, they both had a red tint to their hair, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's one of those super, and then their eyes are, I just seen your daughter's eyes and they're like blue.
Yeah.
Both of my kids have like, well, all three of my kids actually, but the redheads have like hazily green, bluish, grayish eyes.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. It's creepy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think from what I heard is it skips every other generation, the red hair. So like their kids probably won't have it, but their kids will, which is crazy because I never expected to have redheaded kids whatsoever.
No. There's nobody in either one of our families, as far as I know, that are redheads. So I don't know. I have no idea where it came from.
It's so weird. It just like pops up out of nowhere.
No clue. I'm actually really digging this. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they're good.
For those of you just joining, no, we're not drinking booze. I know it might look like it. We're actually trying de soy. There are non-alcoholic, healthy options that actually taste like crap. Like I think that's what's really got me right now. Is it tastes like a really good craft beer.
Right.
I'm a big fan of that.
I mean, they're good, honestly. Yeah. And for anyone who is just hopping in here, these are actually made out of mushrooms and ash.
Oh yeah, this is the mushroom one.
Yeah. So they're supposed to give you like a relaxed feeling. I don't feel relaxed right now because I have a child next to me, but do you feel relaxed?
I guess I'm kind of, for the most part, I can't say that though. I was gonna say I'm for the most part a pretty relaxed dude, but I do get pretty high stress because I got a lot going on. I'm doing a lot, and and there's a pressure to, perform well in all fronts. So I guess I am kind of high anxiety, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's just because I'm on here doing the show with you and this is our relaxed time or what. Right. I think it'll really show after we're done with the show and how I feel then. I can tell you I feel a sense of happiness, that like that excitedness. When you drink that first drink or first two drinks and you get that, you loosen up and then you're just like, woo. Yeah. I feel that. And I always say, even when you go do like mocktails and stuff, for instance, I took my wife to a venue for her anniversary, or our anniversary and her birthday. And we had some of the greatest mocktails I've ever had in my life. I was always scared to go to the bar and get a mocktail because I thought it would make me want to drink more.
Right.
But it didn't. And after like the second one, we're sitting there giggling, laughing, getting all goofy and, kicking it on the patio and just having a good old time. And it really felt like back in the day. And I was like, wow. So it turns out it was the environment the entire time. It had nothing to do with the booze. It was all about the environment. Because I could have swore I had a couple drinks in me because I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that same way right now. I think just the ceremony of cracking that can and the taste of it, that reminds me of, what it used to be like. I think I'm learning something today.
I think that's why it's like important that we do this because, I think like me and you both said in the beginning of our recoveries, like we felt like we couldn't have fun. Mm-hmm. But like this would literally be, I mean, imagine if we were on here drinking actual alcohol, it would be the same thing.
Yeah.
We're still having fun and these are still good. And like, we're sober and I can, still take care of my child, I'm not going to fall on the floor puking all over myself. Like I'll be all right.
I think that's a big thing too. When people I used to ask people all the time because nobody would ever know how much I drank. Right. They were like, the only reason I can tell you're drunk is because you're talking more than usual. Like I got really conversational. I got really deep. Like I would think really deep about stuff and really want to get it, like dive into these deep emotional conversations. And that for the most part, and because I have a lazy eye, I'd always be like, but other than that, people were like, oh, I couldn't tell you were drinking. So this situation, you're going to get, like right now, I really feel like I'm partying, but I'm not slurring my words. I'm going to remember every bit of this.
Right.
Not only because it's recorded, but because I remember, I'm having a mind blown moment right now. I can't even fathom that these are as good as they are.
It's set in stone now. You can have fun sober. This is the whole point.
Now that's why though, because there's a false sense of security I think that can happen from, and I want to bring this up too, since we are encouraging people to try these substitutes. There can happen a false sense of security of you thinking, okay, I can drink these non-alcoholic drinks. Now, okay, I can go to the bar and I just got to drink non-alcoholic drinks and I'm fine. Don't forget that environment itself, there's something about it. Yeah. And the people in that room, especially if it's people that you used to party with or used to drink with or do all those things with, a lot of those people don't accept your sobriety and they won't accept your sobriety. Right. And you're going to try to please those people, or you're going to, not want to look weird or whatever. And it'll happen. For instance, I think I told you guys a story about the first time I stopped drinking and how I ended up relapsing that time. Vegas, real world cast. I'm in the Hard Rock in the booth. It's the biggest party I've ever been to. And I'm with the people that are being celebrated. And they kept, come on, man, drink when it's all free. You can da-da-da-da-da. And I even told them a couple times, like, nah, I'm sober. I've been sober 6 months. And they're like, if there's any time for you to stop that, it'd be right now here in Vegas with us. And I listened.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep kicking it.
And that's another thing that I think, like, we don't think about the same with alcohol as we do with drugs. Like, if you are a drug addict addicted to any substance other than alcohol, you wouldn't put yourself in a position to, like, go hang out with your drug dealer, right?
Right.
So why are you going to go sit at a bar when you're an alcoholic? It doesn't make sense. It's those people, places, and things that you have to avoid. But, you can do stuff like this. Like, and, obviously every person's different. I'm sure there are some people who are sober who can still, go out and have a good time with their friends and not drink. But you have to know, you have to understand yourself enough to know if you're going to be triggered. And if you're going to get that urge to drink or to use, you don't want to put yourself in that position whatsoever.
Facts. I think a good rule of thumb is at least in early recovery, just assume you're going to be triggered. I don't care how strong-willed you think you are. I don't care how much you think you can say no to people. Don't test it. There's no reason. What are you going to gain from testing that out? If you 100% no, if you say you 100% know that you're not going to or don't want, like me, myself, I could go to the bar right now. I'm going to be working in a venue that is a bar. I know I'm not going to be tempted to drink alcohol while I'm there. I know that 100%. And that's just me for me. Still things can happen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not immune to that. I'm not immune at all. The other day, my cousin was drinking a little thing of wine, right? I didn't want none by any means, but he got up and walked away and it was sitting next to me. And just like my buddy Ashton said, he's like looking at it, sitting right there and thinking about what you would have done in the past and having that moment. It's scary. Yeah. Because that thought is just pick it up and take a sip. You'll be fine. Yeah. Like, nobody's going to know. You'll be all right.
And all it takes is that one time to fall deep back into it again. And the same thing happens to me. Like I said, I definitely struggle with alcohol, but not as much as I did with drugs. And, things trigger me like randomly, like money. When I got my tax return, I was like so surprised that this year I did not automatically think, I could go buy a 20 sack right now because I have plenty of money to do so. Right. It didn't even cross my mind. And that was like a first for me because, for so long, every single time I got any money, I was like, there's, I could go use right now. I have the means to do so.
It would be so easy.
Yeah, it would be easy. And I think, something that's important when it comes to that is like always being prepared because like you said, you never know. Like you can put yourself in these positions if you feel like you're strong enough in your recovery to do so, but you have to have a plan B because if you get there and you're starting to feel triggered, you have to either find a way out. You got to find somebody to talk to. You have to call your sponsor. You have to do something to protect yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to probably end up relapse and you don't want to do that.
True. That's why I think bringing that sober friend is a huge thing too. And make sure it's somebody who truly is sober. Like I think two people in early recovery shouldn't go to the bar together and test this out. Like that's not good because that can be, I've had situations where me and someone, were supposedly not doing something and then it came up and then the trigger happened and then the availability happened. And then we both made an agreement with each other. Like, okay, just this one last time and then we're good. And then so you have to have somebody there that ideally, if you can, find somebody who's never had the issue.
Right.
Find somebody who's willing to not drink with you, who doesn't have an issue like that. And that'll be the person that can really hold you down. But like I said, again, if you think there's a possibility that you won't be strong enough, there's no reason to test it. There's no reason to try it out. You don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Right.
personally.
Yeah.
Today's show is going to be a little shorter, guys. I got a meeting at 8, and that is very important to me. How'd you feel about our first full episode, dude?
I think it went really, really great. I am really, really excited.
Me too. I'm very
Do you
happy.
think it went okay?
I think it went good. I got what I needed from this. I'm literally like, I'm juiced. I feel like we legit just partied. I'm hype. I always say all the time, I tell you guys all the time, I tell my wife all the time, I've been trying to find joy. I've been trying to really find this like smiling from ear to ear kind of situation. And I think we did something here. I think we got something.
Yeah, and you guys have to remember too, like this is the second show. This is supposed to be our first whole show. And we're gonna try, like an hour, 2 hours for each show. So this is really like our first test run.
Yeah.
And I think it went really well. And we have so many ideas, so many things that we want to bring into this. And I really think it's going to just keep growing and becoming better and better as we go. And I will have a babysitter next time also.
No, you don't have. That's the beauty of this show. It's real. It's honest. It's partying with our kids around. Wait, before we go though, we do have to taste this one.
I was going to say we have to finish that last one.
All right.
So this is our yellow lemon one. This one is made with maca. I'm not sure what maca is. Lemon balm, L-theanine, and derived from green tea. So the same things except for the lemon and the maca.
I don't think I'm gonna like this one.
You
smell that?
Yeah, it smells. What does that smell like?
I don't.
It smells like an herb of some sort.
Yeah, like a seasoning of some sort.
Yeah, like basil or something.
Oh,
ready?
You ready? No, that ain't the one.
I don't like the aftertaste. The first taste wasn't that bad, but that aftertaste is not good.
It tastes like, I imagine if you cleaned up, like if you spilled lemon juice on your counter and you cleaned it up with a sponge and then you wrung the sponge out.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. That was not my favorite.
All right, Day Sweet. 2 out of 3 ain't bad though. Hey, we're not gonna like everything, but the ones that we did like, please, when you see this, send me a grip of these, please.
Yeah, the orange ones are definitely the best, I think.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, it's closing time. I think in the future, what we'll do is we'll do last call, and we'll figure out, how to do something cool for last call. Okay. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I think that'll be cool. But this is last call. This has been No Hangover. Thank you guys so much for partying with us. Everybody who's on the stream, everybody who's on the Instagram. We're in love with doing this, and this is I think this is going to be the greatest thing we've ever done.
Oh my God, I love it so much. I had so much freaking fun, and I can't wait to do it again. Honestly, I'm so excited for this.
Let's go. We love all you guys. This will be Friday, right? So have a good weekend. Be safe. And for everybody who was here kicking it with us tonight, congratulations. In the morning, you will wake up with no hangover.
That's the goal.
Hi, y'all. We'll see you guys. Love you.
Bye.